Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to look at another knife by Adventure Sworn, favorite knife company. We're going to look at the Adventure Sworn Woodcrafter. This knife is pretty cool. I picked this up used. This is 3/32 01 tool steel. It has the heat treat finish. Birdseed maple, I believe it is. Handles, it's definitely maple. I think it's called birdseed maple. Copper hardware. And it almost looks like on here, double black pinstripe liners. To me, it looks like two very thin black liners epoxied together. I'm not really sure. That's what it looks like. I had a request to show comparisons with other knives, so I grabbed a few other knives just so you guys can see the differences. This is a Mountaineer, an Adventure Sworn Mountaineer. So that's a profile there of that one. This is the Adventure Sworn Classic. So the Mountaineer and Classic are pretty similar. Nothing really is the same sort of blade shape as the Woodcarver. So let me take these out of the way. And the last one, just to get a comparison of size, is the Walker. The Walker is tiny, but they almost have the same blade length. It's shorter handle on the Walker, obviously totally different handle design on the Woodcarver. Overall, good knife. I will at some point send this in for a warranty work with Adventure Sworn, so no company is without fault. Something always happens. I'm definitely sure that this was not like this from the factory. I think it's just over time. Wood always moves, and I don't know if these handles are stabilized or not, but wood generally always moves. So there's some very, very, very slight separation between the black liners and the actual tang of the knife, enough to get my fingernail in there. You can definitely feel it. So I'll send it in for warranty work. If they can fix it, they'll fix it. If not, they will rehandle it with new material, which is a shame. The only reason I don't want to send it in is because I love the look of the handle material, but I digress. What this knife is good for: this knife is good for carving, as the name would suggest. Basically, just the way that it's shaped, the thinness of it, the way it fits in your hand, it just works really well for carving. I wouldn't use it for heavier tasks. This would be a knife that I would, basically it would be a companion to maybe my Mountaineer, or a companion to a larger knife. If I was carrying like a 10-inch blade with me, and I would carry this just as a secondary knife. Very good for small fine tasks. Fire prep, never going to do anything heavy with this. We'll baton this little stick here to see how this feathers. Very sharp, very easy to resharpen. And I wouldn't really punish this knife by giving it anything too large to get through, because it is thinner stock. It's meant for carving, it's not meant for fire prep. So, not bad. Should feather really well. This is white pine, so it should have no problem. Chewing through that pine. That tip, you get lots of control out of that tip. What's nice is, you can choke up all the way to right here, so you don't really have any distance between the handle and the blade. It gives you a lot of control. So we can hit something there. So we can get a lot of nice, really good curls off of this, riding our edges. And I can still pop those off when I need to. So, yeah, no issues there. Feather's great. That thinner stock with that Scandi grind definitely gives it a slicier feel. Move on to, we'll test out our 90-degree spine here, which I've tested out before. This one is very good. This is a very good 90 on it. And I've said it in other videos, you can take this, leave this out in the sun for a couple hours, and you'll have some nice tinder. So no problems there. No problems with that 90 degree spine. They did an excellent job on this knife. Now this is all soaking wet. Go throw this over into the sun. Alright, I'll come back to that. Let's get in here and let's do some carving. Let's do some notches on this little piece right here. I'll grab my baton in case we need it. I apologize if the other part of this video is out of focus. I just fixed that. So let's move on. So let's get in here. This thing bites. This thing will take off material like crazy. Probably have to go around that knot. So let's come in here, do that. Thumb assists. Do a 7-notch here. Very lovely. Can rock. Cut all that out of the way. Can do a 7-notch. Easy, right? We'll do a square notch. Take a little bit more off of this. So I use this already to carve a failed pair of tongs, like kitchen or campfire tongs. And I only had to, I stropped once in between sessions, carving sessions, just to bring back that hair popping edge, but I have not, since this last carving session, which was yesterday, stropped at all. We're going to use this smaller green stick that I have here instead of my massive baton. Pretty good bite. Come over here. And let's see if we can pop. Nope. Doesn't pop. Not surprised. Not many knives. A lot of the Scandies don't do that. Nope. So I might dig my tip in here. See if I can start popping that notch out. Okay. Clean that up a bit. So, gets in there, that tip you can really rock in there and get into tighter places. This will probably do wonderfully for a pothook notch, which, let's try that on this short little stick. Take the bark off. Yeah, it does really, really well at getting underneath that bark. Very slicey motion, can get up here, just run the tip down. Just does so well. Those slicing motions I can do. Very fine shavings. This is the softer inner bark. Really lets you get down there. So now we're going to have to use the big boy baton. The overkill baton. Okay, excellent bite. I will pop the notch. Yeah. So I'm under that. So this isn't super deep. And I'm being more gentle on this, especially because it's not meant, or in my mind, it's not meant to take the abuse. I'm sure it can, but I'd rather not break a knife. Yeah, this tip gives you can really get into places with this tip, which is awesome for carving. So this is this design is very close to kind of like a Sloyd knife, which is the whole reason I wanted it. I thought I'd be better at carving things like tongs and spoons, things like that. I suck at spoons. I've done one pair of good tongs, and those are now gone. I've done 2 pairs of failed tongs, and failed meant when I steam bent them, they split out on me. So this is just basically a baby pothole notch. This can swoop under and really get in there good. But this tip, I love this. I love the tip of this thing. So I'm going to transition down because there's a few things I want to note about this for different grips. Down to the ground. So, one thing I want to note is when you do a chest lever like this and you have your thumb on top of the knife, because of the shorter height of this knife, and let me pull this up and actually do a proper chest lever, you kind of start getting whatever material you're taking off either pushed under your thumb or pushed up alongside of your thumb, so it can be a bit awkward. Yeah, see where it kind of, I just took off that chunk and it just gets stuck there. Same idea if when you're carving towards yourself. If you're down all the way at the base of the knife, it kind of just goes under your thumb. Whereas with the Mountaineer being a thicker stock, move out of the way totally. The Mountaineer being a thicker stock, a taller blade, when I come here and I try to take material off, it does the same thing. Usually, it'll, maybe it's because I'm here. I think it's because it's a longer handle, and I kind of do that, or a longer handle, a longer blade, and I kind of do this motion here, and I sweep down, which is why that doesn't get in my way as much. Whereas with this, because of that shorter blade, I kind of sometimes clip the top of my thumb. So it's not a thing to do with the height of the blade. It's just the way that I'm using it because it is a shorter blade. I just find that sometimes I get closer to hitting my thumb with those wood shavings. We will, does great. Everything else, that was kind of my only complaint about it. But now that I compare it with another knife and I see what's going on, it's totally user error. But this works very, very well. Hogs off chunks. This is all green maple, by the way, if you guys didn't know. But excellent, excellent knife. Great at firecraft. Great all around blade in general. I think there might be, if I do a chest lever, and I think it's just I don't know if it's the way they chamfered this, I don't know if it's a different angle or because it's slightly thinner, it does sometimes, depending on where I put my thumb, dig in a little bit underneath my thumb. But it's just, I have to hold the knife a little bit differently. But all in all, excellent, excellent blade. Great performance. This knife will be with me for a while, hopefully. And I will find a place to put it in my systems, a way to carry this. I feel like this and this walker will be interchangeable while I carry. So if I'm going out, I usually have a full-size belt knife and then the walker for me in my pack or around my neck in camp, and I feel like this would be in my pack or Might be a bit big to have around my neck, but as a kind of like a secondary carry or in my haversack or something. And noting that this would actually be very good at like harvesting mushrooms and certain tinders, things like that. It would do a really great job as long as it's not too heavy duty, because it is a thinner knife. It's even thinner than the Walker, and the Walker is 1/8. So, but anyway, excellent company, excellent knives. Absolutely love everything they make. If you guys like this video, go ahead, hit subscribe, hit like, comment, share, and I'll see you next time.